on Unfolded Enigmas.
Headlines shifted tone. Smiles disappeared from red carpets.
A year ago, Sean Combs stood in Times Square and was handed a key to New York City. Today, he's been indicted and will face justice.
He's dealt with every challenge in his life, and he's not guilty. He's innocent of these charges.
I was up, but I make no excuses. I'm disgusted. I'm so sorry.
As his controversial past faces questions that could reveal long-buried secrets.
When he comes to a P. Diddy party, this is what happens to the white man. When they come to one of my parties, this is what happens to them.
For myself, and I think a lot of other people in this industry, I mean, it's all a shock.
Tonight, we unfold a rise so powerful it reshaped culture and a collapse so devastating it forced the world to look away.
He used his business and employees of that business and other close associates to get his way. A year ago, Sean Combs stood in Times Square and was handed a key to New York City. Today, he's been indicted and will face justice.
U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, Damian Williams, is talking about 54-year-old Sean Combs, a.k.a. Diddy, the musician, producer, and business mogul who rose to fame as one of hip-hop's biggest personalities.
New York, we did it! Harlem, we did it! Mount Vernon, we did it! The Bronx, we did it! Let's go! The key to the city! Yeah, yeah, yeah!
But now, Combs is charged in a federal indictment, accused of sex trafficking and racketeering. How did we get here exactly? To answer that, we have to venture back to Combs' rise among the Hollywood ranks.
The story begins not on a yacht, but in the tough streets of Mount Vernon and Harlem. Born into struggle, his father murdered when Sean was just 3, young Combs learned early that survival required control. He was sharp, ambitious, and saw the entire game differently. His first break was at Uptown Records, where he didn't just intern, he innovated. He became a visionary force, cultivating the careers of icons like Mary J. Blige. But the constraints of being an executive were too tight for his boundless ambition.
What's up, y'all? Coming here live from London. Extremely humble, grateful, and blessed. Just got nominated for a Grammy.
In 1993, he launched Bad Boy Entertainment. This wasn't just a label. It was an act of cultural warfare. Combs, then known as Puffy, fused street credibility with polished, expensive glamour. The signing of the notorious B.I.G. was the catalyst. Biggie was the lyrical genius, the crown jewel. Together, they redefined an era. The drip was undeniable. The bars were flawless. Bad Boy became the GOAT of the decade, making the East Coast sound the soundtrack to the world. The empire quickly expanded beyond music. Sean John, a fashion line that earned him a CFDA award, proved he could translate swagger to the high street. Then came Ciroc. This was the ultimate flex. He didn't just endorse a vodka. He took a failing brand and, through sheer force of his celebrity, transformed it into a billion-dollar symbol of stunting and success. He taught the world that the ultimate power lay in ownership and partnership.
He also is presumably a family man. He has been in some very public relationships. There's Kim Porter. I think we all remember his relationship with Jennifer Lopez. He has 7 children, and he really takes pride, at least publicly, in being involved as a father.
By the 2000s, Diddy was an untouchable titan. Magazine covers hailed him as a visionary. He was a philanthropic figure, mingling with presidents and industry titans. His success was mind-boggling, and the public perception was simple. He was too big, too legendary to fail. The magnitude of his success became his ultimate shield. But even in the glow of the spotlight, the whispers began. In December 1999, Diddy, his then-girlfriend Jennifer Lopez, and rapper Shine were involved in a New York nightclub shooting. While Diddy was eventually acquitted of all charges, the legal fallout was devastating for Shine, who served nearly a decade in prison. Rumors immediately circulated, allegations of witness tampering and bribery to protect the mogul. This wasn't just celebrity gossip. It was the first concrete sign of the culture of silence that surrounded Diddy.
I came here today just to tell the truth.
So hopefully we can get down to the bottom of this. I'm 100%, the charges against me are 100% false, and hopefully due to time, we'll start to see that.
The empire had been built, the crown was secured, and the system had demonstrated its willingness to protect its king. But as Diddy entered his untouchable era, the secrets he was determined to keep silent were already accumulating. They were locked away in NDAs and the terrified memories of those who saw the dark side of a lifestyle he was selling. And one individual, a young, aspiring artist named Casandra Ventura, was about to become the unwilling centerpiece of Diddy's most destructive decade. The stage was set for the decade of the whispers. As Diddy's influence solidified across music, fashion, and liquor, the man himself cultivated an image of the family man, the dedicated father to his 7 children, the public partner in highly scrutinized relationships like the one with Jennifer Lopez, and later, the one with model and singer Casandra Ventura, known as Cassie.
He also is presumably a family man. He has been in some very public relationships. There's Kim Porter. I think we all remember his relationship with Jennifer Lopez. He has 7 children, and he really takes pride, at least publicly, in being involved as a father.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Meanwhile, the legend of the Diddy party grew. Everyone knew about them. Everyone wanted an invitation. They were the ultimate access point to the A-list, the who's who of Hollywood and music. But as the volume increased, the whispers grew darker. Stories circulated that these were not just typical soirees. They allegedly had a nefarious undercurrent, the culture of silence. People saw things. People heard things. But the stories rarely reached the major headlines. Why? Because the allegations were often too outlandish, too hard to believe about a man so prominent. Many, the script suggests, simply looked the other way, convinced these were just crazy, unverified rumors. Yet, these stories began to form a pattern. They spoke of a lack of parameters, a refusal to be told no, and an extreme lifestyle driven by the fact that Diddy was surrounded only by yes men. When you are that rich and that powerful, your circle of influence becomes a cage that keeps accountability out.
I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times. 4 times. Just to protect my integrity and that I was telling you about. Right. Because P. Diddy be wanting to party. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did. I did.
Diddy's early ties to young stars raised concern, especially videos referencing time spent with a 15-year-old Justin Bieber.
Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy. You know, where we hanging out and what we doing, we can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me, and we gonna go full crazy.
Y'all don't know how to be accountable. I'm accountable. I pay all y'all checks every week. I'm accountable. It's my responsibility to run this company. I'm accountable. I don't make no excuses.
Following this turbulent time for the hip-hop heavyweight, Combs quickly pivots to growing his empire, including signing new artists like Casandra Ventura, more popularly known as Cassie, in 2006.
Cassie was signed to Bad Boy Records in 2006. Initially, it was a business relationship, but soon it became public knowledge that it had evolved into a romantic one. Their on-again, off-again relationship lasted for over a decade. In the public eye, they were the ultimate power couple, stylish, private, and inseparable. In private, according to later legal filings, the relationship was anything but glamorous. Even while the parties raged, warnings began to pierce the bubble. In 2018, an aspiring producer named Rodney Lil Rod Jones first spoke out, claiming to have been a sex slave to Diddy and Cassie, detailing forced acts and widespread drug use. At the time, his claims were dismissed as outlandish, but a pattern was undeniable. The bizarre stories, the aggressive use of wealth to settle legal threats, and the repeated allegations of volatility, they were all facets of a single, powerful truth. Diddy's success was not just his greatest asset. It was the mechanism of his isolation, protecting him from anyone who dared to say no. The fortress held, But the foundation was eroding under the weight of its own secrets. All that was needed was a single legal crack to shatter the entire structure. The New York Adult Survivors Act, a narrow, urgent window bypassing the statute of limitations, provided that opportunity. The deadline arrived in November 2023, and it wasn't a stranger or a disgruntled ex-employee who finally struck the blow. It was the person he thought he had completely controlled, Cassie. Her lawsuit was not just a legal challenge. It was the declaration of war that opened the floodgates to every suppressed secret, ending the era of untouchability forever. The swift, confidential settlement with Cassie was Diddy's final, futile attempt to buy silence. It only confirmed what federal authorities already suspected. The era of untouchability expired in the hands of the U.S. Attorney's Office. Cassie's lawsuit became the official roadmap for a criminal investigation. The silence she broke became a floodgate, enabling others, like producer Rodney Lil Rod Jones, to step forward. Jones's suit, explicitly alleging RICO, trafficking, and detailing the existence of hidden cameras and digital evidence, was the blueprint the government needed.
My boy want that check. No human harm. I'm just saying, wrap-up vibes. Whoa! By Monday. Want that money by Monday, Diddy.
While these were certainly explosive revelations, this was not the first time we heard this. Back in 2018, a seemingly random interrogation of a suspect in Florida in an entirely unrelated case now may be a crucial clue.
Do you know Sean Combs?
Puff Daddy?
Yeah.
P. Diddy, whatever you call himself.
Yeah. He's part of what's called the Boule. The Boule is a branch of the Illuminati. I had a settlement with Sean, okay? And he belongs to that agenda. That's why he's so famous. They land all the contracts. I had sex with Cassie and Sean. I had like 15 encounters, and I heard a lot of business. I was like a sex slave, okay? For them, that's what I was.
Not everyone with a Sean Combs story has filed a lawsuit. Other celebrities have come out with their own allegations, and they take it straight to social media.
We walk in and there's all these ladies there wearing their club gear, and Kanye and Diddy are already completely up. Diddy hands me a drink. Immediately I'm like, there's something in this drink. I turn and my manager's walking out. The music's low, the lights are dim. I realize that I'm in the studio with Diddy and Kanye, and there's 3 other men and me, alone. I'm not in the industry anymore. I'm not filing a lawsuit, so I'm not getting paid. I'm not looking for clout, because who gives a about me? So why would I lie about this?
The response was immediate and overwhelming. On March 25, 2024, the illusion was shattered forever. The world watched in shock as federal agents executed search warrants simultaneously on Diddy's high-security properties in Miami and Los Angeles. This was not a celebrity scandal. It was a federal case involving sex trafficking and racketeering. The raids provided the irrefutable evidence that money couldn't conceal: firearms, some illegal, drugs, and the critical digital evidence. The very tapes Lil Rod had warned about. The spectacle of the Mogul's homes being dismantled by federal agents was the ultimate humiliation, signaling the total loss of control. While the raids were underway, irrefutable physical proof of the alleged violence emerged. The 2016 CNN surveillance video showing Diddy violently assaulting Cassie in a hotel hallway erased any doubt the public or the jury might have held. His quick apology was seen not as remorse, but as a legal tactic, confirming the video's authenticity and the validity of the victim's claims.
I was up. I hit rock bottom. But I made no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I'm disgusted. I was disgusted then when I did it. I'm disgusted now. I'm so sorry.
After the raid, corroborated what Cassie was saying, where you had other women who alleged that they were victimized by Diddy.
The first of 3 lawsuits comes 2 months after the raids. April Lampros files a suit alleging Combs assaulted her 4 times, starting when she was just a college student. A few months later, another suit, this one from Dawn Richard.
Combs was managing, was promoting
Dawn Richard was hand-selected by Diddy to be part of this band. What's extra powerful is that she saw Diddy strike Cassie. So this is part of the elements of sex trafficking. You have to show force, fraud, or coercion. Well, this is force.
And there's another shocker. Dawn Richard also claims she witnessed Combs engaging in sex acts with young girls. But then, model Crystal McKinney claims Combs sexually assaulted and drugged her at his studio back in 2003 and then had her blackballed from the industry.
The legal hammer dropped in September 2024. Sean Combs was formally indicted and arrested on federal charges, including racketeering conspiracy and sex trafficking. The man who offered a $50 million bail package was denied release, with the prosecution successfully arguing he was a flight risk and a danger to the community. Diddy was remanded to the notorious Metropolitan Detention Center. The king was now a number.
I spent the evening with him, about 1 o'clock. His spirits are good. He's confident. He is dealing with this head on, the way he's dealt with every challenge in his life. And he's not guilty. He's innocent of these charges. We're going to fight this case with everything we have, as is he. And eventually he's going to be shown to be innocent. And so tomorrow we fight again. And we'll fight every day until we don't have to fight anymore.
Can you describe the conditions of the participants?
The food is inedible, from what I've been told. It's way too hot in the summer. Sometimes there's no food at all in the winter. The toilet water has been known to freeze. It's violent. Someone like Mr. Combs, might be a target.
The ultimate question facing the jury in May 2025 was whether Sean Combs was the leader of a full-scale criminal enterprise. The outcome was a dramatic legal contradiction. In July 2025, the jury returned a split verdict. He was found not guilty of the most severe charges, racketeering and sex trafficking conspiracy. The prosecution could not prove the existence of a long-term organized RICO structure. However, the jury found him guilty on 2 felony counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. The conviction under the Federal Mann Act affirmed that he used his corporate resources, planes, staff, to transport individuals across state lines for illicit acts, confirming the criminal nature of his secret lifestyle. On October 3, 2025, the final gavel struck. Despite avoiding the life sentence of the RICO charge, Combs was sentenced to 50 months in federal prison. For years and 2 months. The man who offered $50 million for his freedom would serve 50 months. He was immediately transferred to a New Jersey correctional facility. The legal consequence was terminal, but the professional consequence was complete annihilation. The Ciroc and De Leon partnerships gone. Revolt TV divested. The Sean John line vanished from the marketplace. The cultural currency he spent 3 decades building became worthless. The public figures who once celebrated him scrubbed their pages. The icon became a pariah. Diddy's story is a brutal lesson in accountability. He built an empire on absolute control, only to have that control lead to his downfall. His legacy is no longer defined by his hits or his billions, but by the irrefutable evidence of his violence and the Mann Act conviction. He is the ultimate cautionary tale, the king who lost everything because he believed the rules were for everyone else. The silence is broken. The empire is shattered. The price of power has been paid in full. Though the criminal sentence has been handed down, the legal fight is far from over. Diddy's legal team is appealing the Mann Act conviction, but in the meantime, he remains a federal inmate. More critically, the hundreds of civil lawsuits filed by victims are now entering the brutal discovery phase. These cases, seeking billions in damages, guarantee that while Diddy is isolated in prison, the financial and reputational cost of his actions will continue to haunt him and his remaining associates for years to come. The money may have bought the silence, but the verdict confirmed the truth. Thank you for staying with us through this extensive case breakdown. For more analysis on high-profile criminal cases, click the video on your screen right now. If you haven't yet, subscribe for more unfolded enigmas.